This meeting is being recorded.
All right, good morning. So the Parsha is Vayakhel, which was my daughter's Parsha. And it was the first time I ever read Torah, actually, at my daughter's bat mitzvah for Parshat Vayakhel. A lot of instructions, again, in this Parsha about what to bring and donate and what to do with those donations and all the things to make for the tabernacle and the ark and the curtains and the la, 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 la. But the main theme of this Parsha is that whatever you bring, it's a free will offering. It's not compulsory. The Parsha multiple times is an invitation. Those people whose heart moves them to bring a donation, those people who have the wisdom and skill in their heart to know how to make these things as artisans or craftsmen, those people who desire to contribute to the community in the way that they are called, those people should bring what they have as an offer. And there's something very beautiful about that it gives free will and choice, and also very individualized, which is different than in some of the parshas we have, like I think Pekudei, like where every person has to give a half a shekel, right? That was last parsha. Every person is counted by a specific amount, regardless of whether you're old, whether you're young, whether you're poor, whether every person is equal. And in this one, it really does the opposite. Like, first it establishes that everybody's equal, right? And now it establishes that everybody has their uniqueness. And that once we know that we are all equal members of a community, it's a beautiful thing to say, well, what are your special gifts and skills and talents? And what could you contribute? And what are you called to offer? Which might be different than the next person. So it's acknowledging diversity, right? We have inclusion, and then we have this honoring of diversity, which I think is a beautiful message. So why don't we begin with a little meditation on just coming into this, what do you know within your own heart, within your own wisdom, chokhmat lev, the wisdom of your heart and mind. What do you know you have to offer? And in this meditation, it could either be offering the world at large, offering your community, offering the people you engage with, whether that's friends, family, or a job that you have. But really, the word in Hebrew is nidava, which in the modern Hebrew, nidava is alms giving, or like kind of like a charity or an offering. But in the Torah, it's translated as like this free will, like what you're bringing to the table to contribute to the community, of your own choice. Okay, so find a comfortable seat. Get down. Okay. Why don't we, before we just go right into the meditation, just take a little bit of just loosen out of the low back. I don't know if you could hear the clicking. Definitely tight in my low back. And yeah, so sometimes you hear that in your own body, like where the muscles want to grip, where there's a little extra tension. That's okay. So just coming into your physical being. And then we're going to go into more shoulders later, but come up for just a moment and just take some shoulder circles. And you might hear some crunching, mine or your own, as you feel what's going on in the shoulders this morning. And then very gently just tuck your chin down to your chest, stretch the back of your neck. Take a big breath into the lungs and into the chest, like rise the chest up to meet the chin. And exhale it all the way out. And then let's just open the neck a little bit. And again, we're going to do more after we meditate, but just before we sit even. All right. And then as you're ready, let yourself settle into a comfortable seat. Just for a moment, let's just watch the breath come in to the body and leave the body. And maybe offering some prayers of gratitude for being awake and alive this morning, that your body is sitting here, that your breath is flowing. And I'll ask you to consider this question. What is the offering of my heart and desire? What is my offering, my free will offering of my heart and my desire? And that's a very broad question, so that might be a little overwhelming, and you can chunk that down into something smaller. What is my offering to myself today? What is my offering at work today? What is my offering in this interaction I anticipate with so-and-so today? Really listen and feel within yourself that knowing, that intuitive knowing response. What is your heart saying to you? Bringing your hands over your heart and offering gratitude for this inner wisdom that you have. And as you're ready, you can bring yourself back into the space. It's amazing how when you sit quietly, even for a minute or two, and you ask the question, that an answer arises. You guys have that experience? Like, I asked the question, what is it I want to offer to myself today? And instantly this answer was water. And my body knew that it needs more water today and drink water. It didn't come from something up in my head, or it just came from like this instant awareness. by being still enough to check in with my heart, what my heart knows it wants and needs. And I ask my heart, what is my offering today for the people I interact with today? And instantly the word that showed up in my awareness was presence, right? Presence without distraction, really being fully focused on whoever's in front of me in the moment. And there's so much beauty and wisdom in that. That's an offering. That's an offering. That's my nizavah for today. So this practice of yoga, of contemplation, to just take those moments to check in. The details of that aren't in Torah. It says, oh, anybody whose heart calls them and who has, but it didn't give instructions for how to figure out what it is you have to offer. But the instruction is here a few centuries later. But okay, let's just sit for a moment and pray on it and be it with it. And then we'll know. We'll know what we have to do. All right. Let's actually, I'm going to keep this underneath me for a moment. Let's go a little bit deeper into the neck and shoulder stretches this morning because it just feels good. It's that kind of day. All right, so the first thing I'm going to say is drop your right ear down your right shoulder and just let the left shoulder find some distance from the left ear. So we're just stretching along the neck. And then you can take your fingertips. They may not touch the floor. They may need a block. But while you're tipped over here, just take your fingertips and stretch them away from you. And you'll feel that in the fascia, like this really nice big stretch into that whole shoulder and neck. And then very, very gently, just kind of let your head rotate so that your chin is coming towards your chest. And then gently rotate the chin back up where it was, or maybe a little higher, like almost towards the ceiling. So you're just moving through a range of motion very gently to stretch the fascia. You can let the jaw relax, open the mouth slightly so the teeth are not clenched. You can certainly still be breathing while you're doing this. And then bring your head back to center and just bring it upright. Close your eyes for a moment and just feel inwardly the difference between the right and left side of your body, what you're noticing. You notice a different color, a different kind of energy. All right, and then let's do the other side. So just tip that left ear to left shoulder, opening up the right side of the neck now. And you can take that block over to that side and just reach. Oh. I just noticed that this side is way more tight than the other side. Now, when we take time, when we're not in a rush, right, we can be really, really mindful of our experience in the present moment. So I've been awake 2 hours this morning and I didn't notice until this moment that this side of my neck is so tight. So that gift of giving yourself time to just be present. And then you can take that gentle rotation of the head on its base to flush through a different range of motion. Good. And come back up to the center. And again, just close your eyes and notice what you notice. I love the physically embodied practices of yoga because there's instant feedback. Like instant feedback. You feel the change. You feel what's happening. You've done something and now there's a cause and effect and it's right there. All right, let's take our arms out to the sides and we're gonna just open one way and then the other. So this way is going to open up the chest and the lungs. Big inhale there. When you're doing that, the back body, the shoulder blades are drawing closer together. So see if you could feel that when you open the arms behind you, your shoulder blades are actually contracting. Yeah, good. And then go the other way and see how that spreads the shoulder blades apart from each other, closes down the front body and the lungs, but widens the back body. Good. And do that a few times, and you can feel free to close your eyes so that it becomes more of an inner felt experience. Let's just hug yourself really tight. Get your fingers as far over into the back body as you can. Maybe you can even kind of reach so far that you hook your fingertips around the shoulder blades, just as a point of reference. And just kind of, once you're there, feel like you can pull your shoulders down from your ears. Yeah. You could really feel the lungs breathing here, right? So as you breathe, feel the rib cage move with the breath. Good. Open the arms. Let's take an inhale up overhead and bring that back down to the heart center and hug yourself the other way. I don't know if you're going to remember which way you just hugged, but see if you can. Yeah. And then the tendency is to get the shoulders and elbows way up high because we're so tight to try to find the grip. But once you're there, see if you can intentionally just let the shoulders drop, let the elbows drop. Pull yourself in. I don't remember if we talked, maybe I showed you something like this last week when we were doing like headstand prep. This is like one of those polyvagal exercises. Actually, when you hug yourself and you give yourself a container to come within, right? And this is also about boundaries, right? How do I contain and know my boundary? There's something protective about this. And the free will offering I love because it gives you that opportunity to establish your own yes and your own no, which is very much about boundaries. What am I a yes to that I'm willing to give, that I'm able to give? What am I a no to that feels too much, that feels wrong for me? Good. All right, relax the arms. Let's take some swinging. All right, let's take a little side bend. You can use your block here or fingertips to the floor. I'm just going to use fingertips to the floor. I'm going to tiptoe my fingers out to the point where I can keep my opposite sit bone on the ground. I'm not trying to lift myself up. I'm trying to keep both sit bones grounded. Once I'm there, I'm going to soften my elbow and drop that shoulder away from the ear a little. And I'm going to lean in, and I'm just taking that amazing stretch out of the sideways, right? You should feel the more you press down into that sit bone, that's the anchor grounding you, and then you're lengthening away from that. If you want to bring the whole hand to the ground, great. If you have the flexibility to bring the whole forearm to the ground, you might also bring the block underneath you and bring the forearm to the block. The idea is that we're getting this beautiful lengthening out of the sideways. And then if you want that, take whatever feels right in this arm. One option is to bring the arm up overhead. Another is to lengthen it away from that hip as well. Another option might be to bend that elbow and bring the hand behind the head, and then use that little bit as like like almost like a headrest to open up the chest and the throat. Yeah. And one last option would be if you bring the arm up overhead and then spin the palm back behind you and drop that back of your palm behind your low back. So you're opening up the lung and the chest and shoulder. A little extra twist there. You'll feel that in the oblique abdominals. Again, don't let that sit bone rise up. Good. Yeah, and even here you can feel free to move your head rotate so that you're reminding your head to be relaxed. You're not tensing the muscles in the neck. The neck is actually nice and loose. Good. And then as you're ready, slowly make your way back up and take a moment to close your eyes and just feel, whoosh, feel that big wave of brightness and light energy on that side of your body you just opened. You can even bring your attention, visualize that like behind your heart space in that like middle thoracic section of your spine, and feel from the right side to the left side. It's almost like they're different colors or totally different textures right now. This practice of how do we open the heart. All right, let's go to the other side. So bring the fingertips, walk, 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 keeping this sit bone down. Bend that elbow, relax the shoulder out of the ear, and just start leaning. Stay there. You could keep the hand to the top of the thigh first. Yeah, actually, if you push down on the thigh, it feels really nice. You feel that opening in the low back. So remember when we were kids and we did the arm bones connected to the shoulder bone, the leg bones connected to the hip bone, all the everything's connected. So we feel like, oh, I'm stretching my low back and my hip here, but actually I'm also stretching into the upper chest, and actually I'm also stretching behind the heart, because all the muscles, everything is connected here. Okay, now you can take this arm up to the sky, see how that feels. You can draw it long overhead, but keep intentionally pressing down, grounding that sit bone. So we're moving in two directions. Yoga, hatha yoga, it's the yoga of opposites. We're pushing down in one direction, grounding so that we can lengthen in the other direction. If everything's moving in the same direction, we're not really creating a change or a stretch. How do I root and also reach away? Good, then you can bring that arm back up and then spin the palm behind you, and now drop the back of the hand behind the back and see that there's like a little twist in that along with the stretch. Again, relax the head. You might feel like you can draw that shoulder down, kind of like the neck stretch we started with. You feel that neck stretch if you draw the shoulder away from the jaw. You might open your mouth and stick out your tongue and say, ah. Ah. Great. And then come on back up. Woo! Feels nice. It feels lighter. You feel lighter in your upper body. So light. Okay, let's do one seated eagle arm pose, and then we'll get up and move, practice in some standing postures. So take your arms out in front of you. Yeah. And you'll bend the right elbow towards your face. Bring the left arm across the midline of the body. And then you're going to try to place the right elbow over that left elbow crease and a little farther if you can. Again, that hug, that feeling of the hug. We're trying to get across the midline. Then you're going to bend the bottom hand and turn the palm to face away from you. And you're going to try to find the hands, finding some connection here. Yeah. Yeah. And if you can't go quite that deep, like you can hold wherever you can. But you're trying to, there you go. So I'll show you from the side. Now, lift your elbows up. And then drop your elbows down to the belly. The hands can reach towards the floor, fold over. Do that a few times. Just inhale, lift it up, and you're integrating that mid-back. You might feel that, right? That the mid-back has to pull in and squeeze together as you're, yeah. And then fold over and stretch that mid-back. Good. A couple more times at your own pace. Inhale and exhale. Good. And then you'll come up with the elbows parallel to the floor, and then pull the shoulders down from your ears. So the tendency is for the shoulders to reach up here, but we're going to pull the shoulders down away from the ears, keep the elbows parallel to the floor. And then you're gonna take, oh, this feels so hard and so good. So you're taking some circles. But you don't want to do that with the shoulders up to the ears. So the shoulders keep drawing away, keep length in the neck. This is stretching the back of the shoulders, that upper back. Good. Good. And open the arms and just shake it out for a moment. Ooh, you can shake overhead. You can shake at shoulder height. You could shake out to the side. Shake down towards the floor. Okay. Great. And close your eyes here for a moment and feel that energy. And what is your heart saying, showing you in this moment? Offer yourself some words of wisdom. And there's no wrong answer, the way there's no wrong offering in this Parsha. I love that. There's no wrong offering. It's really coming and sourced from you, and it's all affirmative, right? Okay, eagle, second arm side. Okay, so you're gonna bend the left hand towards your face. Take that right arm under and across the body. Left arm, sorry, whichever one this is. Yeah, left one crosses on top. Bend the bottom hand and reach to find that clasp of the hands at some way there. Good. And we'll do that same thing 4 times. Let's do inhale, reach, reach, reach. And as you exhale, you're stretching down. Good. And after your 4th one, you'll sit up tall and pull those shoulders down from your ears. Really feel so good. Looseness in the neck. And then from here, let's take some circles. Good. And then shake it out. You can do the shaking. You can do whatever feels good. You might want to take a little twist here, whatever feels good to you. All right, let's come into hands and knees. Continuing with this theme of like opening through the heart space, which is the mid back, right? So to open the mid back heart space, we're opening the low back as well as the shoulders because we're all connected. So from your hands and knees, you're gonna take some cat and cows just to open up through again. Let's focus on the mid back. So mindfulness, right? What do we bring our attention to? There's so many things in this series of postures that you could bring your attention to, right? Your hands, your feet, your knees, your belly. But for this day's cat-cow, I want you to bring your attention to the mid-thoracic, like T6, T7, right behind the heart space. So close your eyes. And as you move from one posture to the other, just stay in the presence of the heart. And then you can come sit back on your heels for a child's pose if that feels safe for your knees. Otherwise, modify however is appropriate for you. And even in your child's pose, see if you can keep the awareness at that mid back and breathe there. When you're ready, you can come back through hands and knees. Let's take one down dog. So you'll tuck the toes, lift your knees up off the mat, let your head hang low. And just take a moment to play in your down dog, whatever you feel you need this morning. This is your offering. Right? So going into your own body and feeling, what does my body want to offer this morning? And as you're ready, you can walk your feet up towards your hands. And slowly drawing your belly in as you rise up to stand. All right. So let's just do a flow through like a lunging series. If your shoulders are not great for a plank or an up dog or anything like that, just, you could step back without and not, do those. All right. Hands to your heart, smile on your face, close your eyes for a moment, maybe dedicate this next series and sequence of poses, dedicate it as an offering. Inhale, arms can sweep up overhead. As you exhale, diving out over the legs, head reaches towards the ground. Inhale, halfway up, flatten that back, draw the belly in. As you exhale, fingertips to the floor, step your right leg all the way back. Left knee is bent, and come on up for your lunge. Good. Find your balance here. Ooh. Yeah. Good. Let's just do one shoulder opener here. So take the hands, spin them behind you, interlace the fingers, and then reach those fingers down the leg, down the leg, down the leg. If you want to take your pointers out, you can point them towards that back heel and lean yourself back. So keep the bend in the front knee. You're really opening the front of the hip here, opening up the heart. And again, you can feel that you're strengthening the back muscles, strengthening the back to create that openness for the heart. Yeah. And do what feels right for your neck so that you're not straining. Good. From here, release the hands, bring them back up for your lunge, and then you'll float down to the floor with the hands, stepping back to a plank. From your plank, lowering the knees down, and then slowly reverse tricep push-up. Slow, 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 all the way down to the ground. You can untuck the toes. A little bit of a low cobra here. So the hands are underneath the shoulders, fingers spread, all 10 toenails down on the ground. And you're just lifting the upper torso and then squeeze the elbows towards each other, towards the back body. You'll feel again that shoulder blades come towards each other and the shoulders themselves drop away from the ears. Good. Strengthening the space of the heart. Good. From here, you can come over onto hands and knees. You'll tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Take a look up between your hands, and you're gonna step that right foot all the way towards the front of the mat. Might need to help it get there and adjust your feet. You're gonna rise up to the lunge on the second side. Good. And opening up as an offering, right? There's a sense of pride in this pose. This is my offering. It might be different than yours, but it's no less worthy. It's, it's not that whole compare and despair. Well, what are they giving and what do they have and what can they do and their talents and I'm not as good or what I have isn't as worthy as someone else. And, we do a real number on ourselves. We dishonor ourselves by always comparing to others, or the sense of like, I need to be better than. So there's a lot of ego and pride in that. Bring your hands behind your back, interlace, maybe putting the weird finger on top the way it feels uncomfortable. Yeah. And then again, leaning back, shoulders are nice and long away from the ears, creating a lot of space here and a lot of strength in the back body. Good. What would it be like if we all just really valued ourselves? Like really value that I have something unique and special to offer. It doesn't have to look like or be like anybody else's offering. It could be my own. In yoga, everybody's body is different. Your pose is going to look very different than someone else's pose. It's your body's offering. That's okay. It's perfect as it is. All right, release the arms, bring them up overhead one more time. Let's just bring the fingertips to the floor, step up with your back leg to meet the front leg, and hang out in your forward fold. Shift your hips side to side. And bend the knees and roll yourself up when you're ready. All right, let's take a little eagle pose. We did it seated, so why not add the balance? Okay, so just show you an option. Let me get the block nearby so maybe you can see. Okay, so we've done the eagle arms sitting. We're going to add the eagle legs, and I'm going to have a block nearby if I want for balance. So let's start by taking, what did we do last time? Bend the right arm, take the left arm across. Yeah, here we go. And we're finding those eagle arms. Yeah, and again, I don't want my shoulders up into my ears. I'm going to draw my shoulders down from the ears, but draw my elbows up if I can. Yeah, parallel. Yeah, I'm going to hold that. Okay, now we have our right arm is over. So left arm is under. So left arm is under, so left leg will be over. So take your left foot up off the ground. You're going to cross it across the body over the right leg. And you can just stay here wherever you can be. But again, you're trying to cross by the joint, so knee over knee if you can. And then you're going to kind of squat down in the hips. The place the block helps is you could place the block in the position to the outside of that foot. And so that you're not fully balancing in space, you could put the toes down to the block. That creates extra stability. And you could still go deeper into that squat then. Yeah. Now squeeze your inner arms towards each other more. Squeeze the arms. Feel how that stretches the back and the shoulders. Squeeze the legs together. The inner thighs squeeze together. Feel how that stretches the outer hips. Awesome. Now, right here, you're going to lift the arms up. And then you're going to draw the arms all the way over either towards the belly or past the knee. And hang out here in this hovering eagle. Good. If you're shaking, that's good. You're waking up muscle. There's a lot of strength here. Good. And then slowly draw yourself back up and let the arms go. Woof. That was an arm workout. My arms are squeezing. I can feel that. You feel that in your biceps and your it's like, woof. Feels good. All right. Shake it all out. Shake it all out. All right. You can set the block up on the other side of you. And we'll take that eagle pose on the second side. Okay, so bring the arms out in front of you. And this time, You'll bend the left elbow and cross it over the right. So the right arm is under, and then we're going to take the right leg over. So first find the arms though, really pull those shoulders down, get space in your neck. You can take a little bend in the knees, like a little squat to start, and lift that right thigh. Good, crossing thigh over thigh, find some hook. Woo. Notice where your balance is different on one side than the other. And you're squatting down. And again, I really like the variation where you take some of the balance out of it, not all of the balance. Even with the toes to the block, you're still working your balance. So squeeze everything to the midline. Everything squeezes towards the midline. Inner arms, inner thighs. Yeah. When you strengthen the midline, you're actually stretching and creating more openness in the outside boundary of the body. Those hips and shoulders. Good. Maybe you can squat an inch lower. Good. And then lift the elbows up. Feel the squeeze behind the heart, mid shoulders. And then fold it all the way over, wherever the pose takes you, your version of eagle, whatever color your feathers are, whatever size of an eagle or eaglet you are. Maybe you're in a mountain, maybe you're along a river, right? This is your pose. And then with a lot of strength, rooting down to rise back up slowly. And unwind and shake out those arms. I feel like we're going to be sore from that. I feel like I just lifted weight in my upper body. That was like a lot of intense bicep and shoulder work right there. Woo. Okay. Let's do a little bit of, we're standing. Let's do a little bit of standing core. Let's do some standing core because sometimes lying down our, core, we tend to strain our neck, and standing core, you don't have that same strain. So I really like that actually. Okay, so from here, you could just take your hands out like a little, right? And we're just gonna do knee to hand. This is, I'll show you the variation. Just keep doing that. This is the same energy as doing this. Knee all the way up to my, like to my elbow. Same thing. Right? This has obviously a lot more strength and because you're carrying your body weight, but this is the same, you're working the same kind of abdominal muscle. So this is a great way to get yourself ready for that other version in a plank. Good. And now let's take it towards that, like here, yeah? So this is doing the plank pose when we take our knee up to our elbow. Like knee to outer elbow. It's the same thing, knee to outer elbow. Yeah. So this is working your oblique abdominals here. Yeah. Fun. You look like a marionette on a string, like someone's pulling. Right? It's fun, but we're working core here, which is great. Okay, awesome. Let's do one twist now. Okay, so the twist. And again, on the floor, it would look like bringing the knee to the opposite elbow, bringing it across. So we're working those transverse abs. So here, same thing, bringing it across and across. Yeah. And when we do this as like traditional sit-ups, we might have our hand behind our head, and we might be kind of yanking and pulling at our neck and shoulders, which doesn't feel great. So I like the version of this where you're keeping very upright and contained. Good. Amazing. Okay, good. Let's do one more standing balance just to open up the front. We did some front hip opening, but just again a little bit more in the shoulders and the back. So you're gonna stand up nice and tall. If you have a wall nearby, you can take fingertips to the wall for balance. Because again, not as much about balance, it's about the heart opening. You're gonna bend whichever knee you want. We're gonna do both sides. So choose one side. Standing on one leg, bend the other knee. You're reaching back for your ankle. And you're going to try to drop the head of that knee towards the ground. So when you're tight, it kind of wants to be here. But we're trying to get it in the same alignment with the other inner knee. Or possibly even slightly behind. Right? So you're feeling a big stretch at the opening in the front thigh here. Good. Now, maybe if you're not using a wall, maybe you take the other hand behind you as well, so that you have, and we've done this, we did this kind of clasping thing, same thing, but now you're clasping around the foot. So both hands around the foot, you're reaching that heel back, belly is drawing in and lifting, chest is lifting, opening the lungs, and you're squeezing the elbows and the shoulder blades towards each other at the back of the heart space, giving your heart some strength, courage, opening up from here. Good, good. If you want to get super fancy with this, you can maybe tip forward. If that makes you a little nervous with the balance, take one arm out. You can also do it at the wall here. Oh, a little bit of a dancer pose. And then bring it back down and shake it out. Okay. Oh. All right, second side. So same thing, stand up nice and tall. You're gonna bend the knee and just find the stretch and just notice where you are here. Yeah, we tend not to close our eyes in balance poses because obviously our eyes really help secure our balance. But you can go inward with your mindful attention and awareness of what's happening, even with your eyes open, right? How can I, even when I'm walking through my day and doing what I need to be doing, can I still be checking in with what I'm feeling and knowing in my heart is the wisdom here, right? We don't always have to sit on our mat with eyes closed to touch into our heart, right? The more advanced practice is how do I touch into my heart throughout the day, throughout my walking life, ongoingly, so that I always have that wisdom in each moment before I act, before I respond. All right, from here, maybe you take the other hand behind your back. And now you got two hands on that foot. Maybe you get a little taller, really elevating from the belly up to the sternum up to the upper chest, opening up the heart, squeezing the shoulder blades towards each other. Yeah, belly is strong here. You're not flopping the belly out. The belly's contained. Good. Maybe you want to take it into some version of a dancer. Yeah, whatever's right for you. Take the arm forward. Maybe each inhale puffs you up a little more, reminds you to open up the chest. Good. And then let it go. And let's just do gentle, gentle, whatever feels good for you to shake that last pose out. Okay, let's bring it down onto the back. I'm going to suggest for my offering this morning that I want to offer my hips a nice stretch in a reclined pigeon figure 4, but you can offer yourself whatever it is you need. So take the next, take the next 4 or 5 minutes to do whatever feels good for you. And then come into your Shavasana. So I'm going to take a little figure 4, crossing my ankle over my thigh and then drawing that knee into the chest because that just feels like what I need today. So I really encourage you to be present in your physical body and also in your emotional and mental awareness right now. What is it that I want to offer in this moment? Really trust yourself to just follow that. you're doing something on one side, make sure you give yourself equal time on the other side. And obviously you guys are in your own home, so take your time and do anything else you need, right? This is your morning, it's your practice. If and when you feel complete in your asana practice, you can make your way to Shavasana. And if it serves your practice this morning, you may go back to this question of what is it I have to offer? What is it I desire from my heart to bring forth as an offering in the world? And then taking a moment to offer any prayers you have for yourself or for others. Shalom b'mirma huya shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael kol Yoshvei Tevel.